Happy Monday. Here's this week's Monday Mindset. So we're all learning. I'm still learning. You're still learning. When you think you know everything, that's when you're in trouble. So here's a few quotes on learning. The greatest enemy to learning is knowing. John Maxwell. It's what you learn after you already know it all that counts. John Wooden. And don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. Now, with that said, I'm always trying to learn. I'm always listening to different YouTube videos, podcasts, books. There's 3 books that I'm going to recommend today in this Monday Mindset. The first book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So the synopsis of How to Win Friends and Influence People states, you can go after the job you want and get it. You can take the job you have and improve it. You can take any situation and make it work for you. And then it goes on to state that Dale Carnegie's book has carried countless people up the ladder of success in business and their job, and it's a time-tested book. I have personally read this book twice, and I'm on my 3rd time reading it now. It's a great book on communication and how to build relationships with people. The next book I recommend is The Immigrant Edge by Brian Buffini. This book talks about how Brian went on his journey from an immigrant from Ireland to the USA with very little money in his bank account. He had a terrible motorcycle accident early on in his real estate career. He was in a lot of debt because of that. But by working by referral system, managed to go from a couple $100,000 in debt to building his real estate coaching empire that he has today. Also goes on to talk about how immigrants are about 13% of the US population, but they're responsible for about 25% of the new businesses formed every year. And in his book, he goes on to say how he feels the secret to that is what he calls the immigrant edge. And if people who are already established in the US or in their communities were to put together some of the principles that some of the immigrants put forth with their work ethic and trying to build their business, we already have an advantage where we already know people, so we should really work those referrals and build our business from what we already know. The 3rd book I recommend is Acres of Diamonds by Russell Cornwell. So this book is about an Arab guide who wanted to go and find diamonds so badly that he sold his own property in search for diamonds. And come to find out, the property he sold was a diamond mine, and there were diamonds all around his already owned property. The way this relates to real estate is all you need to run a successful business, you already know. It's already in your database. You don't need to go chasing different random lead generation sources. All the lead sources you have are right there in your database, and you should work your database because it's full of diamonds. Now, with that said, I highly recommend reading these books, listening to them on Audible, and then implementing the things you learn from it. That's all for this week. Have a great week, everybody. See you around.